Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Here today in the United States, it is Memorial Day, which is a day where we take time to honor those who served our country and did not survive their service. So, a lot of people will be celebrating a long weekend and will be, you know, enjoying the holiday, having cookouts, things like that. But I just felt compelled to come on here and do a pick a card in honor of this day. Now, this isn't intended to be something that's tied only to those who lost their lives in the military. Obviously, this time of year, and anytime we're having family gatherings and cookouts and celebrations and things like that, and getting together, it can bring up and trigger some memories and some sadness and some longing for those in our family, our friends, perhaps ex-spouses, things like that, ex-romantic partners who have passed on. So I felt compelled to come on here, was strong, very strongly urged to stop what I was doing today and pull some cards and do this type of a reading for you all. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you who are familiar, I'll just go ahead and do a refresher quickly of how this works. So I have 3 different piles here. I have pre-shuffled just because there are a lot of different decks, a lot of cards that wanted to come out, and it just saves a lot of time. I know people are busy, so for these large pick a cards, I will shuffle off camera. Now, when I do pull each one, it will be timestamped below, so you can go ahead and click off and forward on to a certain one that you're wanting to look at. It will take me sometimes a few moments to pull down the messages from the cards once I start pulling the cards, so there might be some awkward moments of silence. So just be aware of that. Of course, you can watch all of these and see what resonates for you. And as always, it's a general reading, it's a collective reading. So these messages may not be meant for you this time, but of course, take what resonates. And, if for example, I'm going to pull cards that talk about someone's personality, their characteristics, things maybe they like to do, initials, things like that. Obviously, the more things that resonate for you, the intention is to bring you some comfort. And also, we do have messages of closure here with some of these cards as well. So I will just channel with what comes out. And again, this is intended to be applicable to messages from someone who has crossed over to the other side. Now, I have had instances where sometimes these, a certain pile will take a turn and it's perhaps someone who is still alive and then there's an estrangement. So if there's something like that that comes out, I will certainly convey that over to you. Trying to think if there's anything else. I am available now for private sessions. Those are all done via Zoom. All of that information is down below. Some of these decks have been created by myself. So that information to purchase the decks is down below. I do have some in my inventory, including the 2 decks here that I'm using of mine today, the Divination deck, Christmas Tarot. Those 2 are available limited quantities for a discount if you purchase directly from me. So again, that information is down below. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, quickly, I did have something unique happen, and I'm catching on fire. I've got a hoodie on, and I was cold, and now I'm burning up. So lots of energy coming in. I was doing some cleaning and organizing before I got the nudge to record this video, and I was listening to music, and that's totally a common thing. I listen to music all the time, and I had it on random, like a shuffle, and some songs came on that, songs I like, don't get me wrong, but I haven't heard them in a long time, and there's something about them I just felt energetically might be tied to some of the messages that are coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and name the songs now that came through, just so you know. These could be songs that you're, the person that's coming through for you really loved these songs. It might remind you of what happened in the situation with them, or might remind you of childhood. Something, again, one is a name, so it could be your name or their name or a name of somebody that's significant to you. But the 3 songs that came out were November Rain by Guns N' Roses, Amanda by Boston, and With or Without You by U2. So, yeah, I just got chills, especially With or Without You. That one, I really felt called that I needed to share. Okay. So again, these are going to be time stamped, and I know it comes on quickly. I'm not a master editor yet here on YouTube, but I will hold these up for you again so you can see your choices. All right. So we have this, it's an Aura Agate Unicorn. So that is choice 1. Choice 2 is this handmade medallion. I'm hoping you can see in the light how gorgeous it is. It's like a rainbow color, shimmers. It's not labradorite, but it kind of looks like labradorite, and it's got this mandala, this golden mandala in the center. That's choice 2. Choice 3 is a rose quartz butterfly. All right, so we will go ahead and start with number 1. Which is, again, number 1 is the unicorn. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these. Wow. Okay, why I said wow was obviously you were drawn to the unicorn. And I shuffled these. I know, I pulled the cards off camera, but I had no idea that this card, I just randomly, I was like, card, pile 1, what's with the unicorn? We had unicorn come out as one of the charm cards. So there definitely is something tied with unicorns here. You also have rocking horse, so childhood. I'm getting mother energy coming through very strongly. And I'm getting that she may have been an ice queen. She may have not given much affection in childhood. She may have had, we have a phobias card. She may have had like this issue with like everything having to be clean, pristine. Like she didn't want anything to be dirty. So she really didn't want to touch people, even her own children. Like she was just very much averse. Like I'm getting like there could have even been a nanny that raised you or that did more of the dirty work. There was a lot of hostilities growing up in childhood. We have hostilities as the energy card. We have 2 sword cards, Queen of Swords, and then the hostilities has this sword here. So it's like very guarded, very closed off. And that is something, that I think I am getting that there may have been some sort of progression maybe before she passed where things were starting to be mended, because we have the 6 of Wands and the 6 of Cups here. I'm getting energy with these 6s that maybe there was an illness where she had like 6 months to live. So there was some time perhaps to sort of try to come full circle with things, but it didn't quite come through. Because I'm getting that, with the Divination deck, also we have N, the initial N. So maybe that's why I was picking up on Nanny. But it could be a Nancy, Nora, or, it could be, there could be a Nathan, like perhaps you have a child named Nathan, Nathaniel, Nicholas, but, take that how it resonates, as that could be a place. But you've got, what's interesting in this Divination deck of mine is there are 44 cards, and it's A through Z letters, and then there's numbers, and then, okay, this is weird how my throat is like getting scratchy out of nowhere. And I'll tell you why in a minute, why it's really strange. But so we have the letters A through Z, we have 0 through 9, and then there are some timing cards and some direction cards. So my point being, out of 44 cards, there are not many. There's maybe 10 or 12 that have words on them besides a letter. And this is the communicate card. So I don't know if it's that, you've been feeling a desire to communicate, you wish there had been more communication, or this is just, confirmation that these messages are coming through and communicating with you now. For a subset of you, I'm getting, there could have been a child perhaps that crossed over, because that's why we have the rocking horse, where you have this nostalgia card, the 6 of Cups. I'm using my Christmas tarot to pick up on family kind of energies. Thinking about the holidays that could have been, with that, clinging to the past. But the message of closure is, I'm with our ancestors. So, this could be too with the mother, take that how it resonates, just confirming that she has crossed over and is, okay and in a better place. This could also be, I'm getting for some of you, recognition of the ancestral work that you are doing to heal the wounds that were created by her lack of love during childhood. We also have, again, as far as like some other signs and symbology, I'll just show these just in case it means something to you, and maybe it's something I'm not picking up on directly. Like I said, we had the rocking horse, we had the unicorn, which says fantasy land. We also have ivy, clinging. That's where I was getting clinging to the past, but there could be a story tied to poison ivy. Ivy, in a childhood home or around a childhood home. You also have mushrooms, dreaming. Lots of fantasy cards, with the unicorn, fantasy land. This almost gives like fairy vibes. There could have been a lot of daydreaming, in your childhood, fantasizing that maybe you had a different family, or that she would suddenly put down her sword and just put her arms around you. And I think she's getting that she just wasn't, the message I'm getting there is her heart was frozen because, again, the way she was raised. That I'm getting, there could have been the belts, whippings, she wasn't allowed to cry or express her emotions, and that, she shut down and never heals. But so there is an acknowledgement, though, that she and your ancestors are proud of the healing work you're doing to break that cycle now. And I'm getting that's where the 6 of Wands is, like that coming full circle. That's that victory, success, like Phoenix rising from the ashes. That's a very beautiful energy. Full moon is completion and culmination. And so that's where I'm getting, again, very strong energy of coming full circle here. I think perhaps to do that, there could be some writing and burning and forgiveness. And maybe that's where the communicate is coming from. Is there things that maybe you left unsaid, or that you feel were left unsaid, but there needs to be some forgiveness and some letting go of that. We just had the full moon in Sagittarius last week. So it'll be about 3 weeks, I think, or so. It's usually between 3 and 4 weeks where we have like the full moon cycle. So be sure to look up when the next one is. But at any point in time, you can write and burn if it feels right. You can do it tonight. But yeah, it's interesting to me because we've got, with that unicorn card, the full moon behind it, and then we've got the full moon. And this is this is an angel dreams card, so you may be dreaming about her or the situation, or some things that, some scenarios or things you wish you'd said or done. You've got the butterflies in here. This is about rebirth, though. And it feels like you're on the precipice of something, as far as moving through like a final cycle of healing. I mean, we're never done, right? But we get to the point where we're not triggered anymore, and we release so much of that weight. And I'm getting that, you know, there could be some, you know, things tied to your childhood that have brought phobias upon you as far as opening yourself up to someone, but you are working through those things. So that is really beautiful energy. So I hope that was helpful for you, group 1. You may want to watch the others just to see if any other messages come through for you. All right, so we are now going to move into number 2. And number 2 is the medallion. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so I'm getting a couple of messages here, a couple of different scenarios coming through. The main one, the first one is going to be someone that's crossed over, and it's definitely father energy. So it can be your father or the father of your children. For some of you, I'm getting this is someone that's still alive that you've severed a relationship with. So take that how it resonates, okay? So certainly death can be, you know, metaphorical in that sense that, you know, when something ends, it is a death. Even if the person is still alive, you grieve the loss of that relationship. So certainly take it how it resonates. But, you know, clearly the past life card that came through is father. We had number 7 come through with the Divination deck. So that could be significant as far as, you know, when they passed away, you know, 7 weeks ago, 7 years ago, the month, July, somebody's birthday, birth date. 7 is also, you know, in numerology, when you're on a point in your journey where things are very challenging and you may feel lost and you don't know where you're going. So when you see 7s, it's like, okay, you're pushing through the changes, you're pushing through the challenges, and you know you're on the right path, even though you may not see the end of the road yet. What's interesting, again, if you didn't watch the first one, my Divination deck has mostly numbers and letters in it, but there are just a very small number of the 44 cards that have word messages, written messages. This one says stay the course. So you're being encouraged to keep moving forward on your journey, seeking justice. Okay, so again, this could be a father figure guiding you from the other side, telling you to keep going. You know, I'm getting, you know, this energy, this person, this male energy guiding you is very proud, because it hasn't been easy to take the steps forward to love yourself and nurture yourself and stand up and set boundaries, and to realize your worth, because they very well may have contributed, they being the father, or grandfather, however it is, like they may have contributed to that as far as you not loving yourself and recognizing your worth. So you settled in relationships that, you know, toxic, unhealthy, abusive. With the justice card here, this could be actual literal court justice, like, you know, a temporary restraining order, a divorce, something like that. But I'm getting a clear message that you need, like, cutting off ties with whatever this is that's no longer working. You need to keep going forward, stay the course, and excuse me, proceed with those changes. The message that this person from the other side is giving to you is, it makes me happy to see you heal. which is really a beautiful message, because I think along those lines, there's a recognition of where their wounds and their lack of consciousness, their lack of emotion, their detachment, their own depression, contributed to you having the wounding that you've had, which led you to make these choices. But the beautiful thing is what I'm getting is that you are recognizing your worth, and you are cutting ties with the things that no longer serve. I mean, you've got a razor. So again, this could be somebody, again, some small subset of you where someone literally was cutting themselves, or maybe you were cutting yourself because you were so, depressed or distraught. But to me, this is too, like, it's like cutting out, literally, like, because you have a knife with sever. All right. And for some of you, this could be emotional, wounding, cutting, hurting your heart. But I'm getting strongly, you're severing connections with something, with someone specifically. You also have, this confirmation of this gray, depressed, detached, unemotional energy. This again could be that father figure. You have corn as cream of the crop. That's why I was getting, like, recognizing your worth. But this also, for some of you, could represent maybe your father was a farmer. Maybe he worked really hard, and, he thought that that's all he needed to do was provide, and he was, detached emotionally. And maybe you have memories of going out and picking corn with him. So that, take that if that resonates. But this person again is saying, it makes me happy to see you heal. They're recognizing their part in this. What I love about seeing this Maiden of Cups card, that's the Knight of Cups in traditional tarot, but it's like she's this innocent, she's kind of a teenager, but she's hugging this bear, and it's like going back and healing your inner child, right? Learning, loving yourself, giving yourself opportunities for love, right? And you're doing that by severing, by cutting away the things that no longer serve. You also have problem solving, resolution. The resolution card with justice. That tells me that, again, if there's a court case or just the situation itself getting resolved and balanced in a fair manner, that is, stay the course and keep moving forward. You may not see the resolution yet or not understand how it's happening, but just understand you're on the right path. The problem solving card I want to show you, again, it says resolution, but for some of you, jigsaw puzzles could have been, something that you liked to do with this person, something you like to do now. Or you may just be, like, literally in your head have all these thoughts and, of questioning of how these pieces are going to come together. But I'm getting, again, confirmation that it is in process. And, we're in the spring season right now. I know we're rapidly approaching summer, and it feels like summer outside, at least in Ohio, but it's really, we still have about 3 weeks until the summer solstice. So it's still spring. It's still that time. So I'm getting that the resolution could be happening as quickly as spring. Awakening, projects, renewal. Renewal, justice and renewal definitely go together. You might be seeing 1111 a lot. I'm getting that, and thinking of your crossed over loved one or connecting with angels. Just trust that if you're feeling some sort of a connection to spirit, you may be going through an awakening through this process. It may have been, your dark night of the soul that we're getting here. I do, like I said, feel some very heavy negative energy, but you're cutting through that and moving forward. Okay. And oh my gosh, I just noticed this last card. Wow. From the Energy Oracle. Remember how I just said awakening and seeing 1111 and connecting to spirit? You have the Door to Spirit card. So this is confirmation of a couple of things. One, that, angel, spirit, guides, whatever you believe in, that, connection is available to you at any time. Anytime. Right? So tap in. How do you tap in? You can ask for signs. You can ask to see something maybe that you don't see that often, and ask, if I'm on the right path, show me this. And the more you start to get those confirmations and to see those numbers, the stronger your resolve and your grit become to keep staying the course and moving forward through the challenges. Okay. Also, the door to spirit is that, if you do want to communicate to this father figure or anyone else who's crossed over, it's, yes, they're in a different realm, but energetically they are still around. So you can do this by writing and burning. You can sit down and just talk to them. Talk to them and say the things that you need to say. You can ask them for signs. Okay? Let's see. I'm feeling like I'm going to pull a tarot card here for you all. Just another message. Oh my gosh, I just got chills. Okay, so I was talking about healing that inner child. You remember with this card? You got the Six of Cups, which is about that nostalgia, that, childhood, going back. Look at that. She's turning around, going back, and she's healing that inner child. And so one of the things, okay, so I think the message I'm supposed to bring forward with this is, one of the things you can do is you can go back to, any, and you may have a specific memory in mind, or you may just, sit down and ask spirit to take you to a memory that needs to be focused upon and healed. And so you'll be shown, a scenario that you were in as a child, and you go in as that higher self, and you talk to that little girl or little boy, if you're a boy watching, a male, and you talk them through that situation, right? And you can hug them, be there for them, and then tell them, that they're going, that you're there with them through every step of the way. You can walk through kind of the next phases of your life with them, whatever feels right. You may want to just take one moment at a time. You may need to go back multiple times to the same moment until you feel like you've really healed it and worked through it. You can even, if you are bridging the relationship with this father figure who's crossed over, you can, ask them if they were part of that scenario, maybe their higher self, to come and observe that situation with you. And then you together can heal the inner child. So there's a lot, and I know this is deep, but you can take it any way. There's no right or wrong way to do this, okay? And again, the writing and burning is very powerful also, but I mean, this image, and I've used this deck so many times, and this is the Crystal Visions Tarot, and I honestly don't know if I don't know if I've not noticed this image or just not really pulled the card this much, but it's just so beautiful. Okay, and just remember, time is an illusion, so yes, we can go back in time and heal that. That's that coming full circle energy. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you, number 2. We are going to move on to number 3 now. And again, number 3 is the Rose Quartz Butterfly. So we are going to move to that. So I am getting, I'm picking up definitely on male energy coming through. So definitely father figure type energy. So it could have been your father or the father of your children. I am picking up on a couple of scenarios there as well. One where the person has actually died and crossed over, and one where they caused the demise of your relationship. Let's see. Yeah, it's just interesting how these things come together. There's so many cards that are related. Okay, so first off, let's go to the tarot. And again, in case you haven't watched the other ones, I'm using my Christmas tarot deck just because it helps me kind of pick up on the energy of kind of the family, the holidays, the overall, it's, you know, childhood nostalgia, those types of things. But the Emperor, you know, shows up as Santa here. That's why we get the father figure. The Emperor is also divine masculine energy. But, you know, this could be that this person passed away around Christmas time. But I'm getting some definite sadness around the Christmas season. Let me think about this. So we're in May. Okay, so no, 9 weeks ago would not have been Christmas time. But we definitely have some time frame here with 9 weeks. There's something significant with 9 weeks. Maybe they passed away 9 weeks before Christmas, 9 weeks after Christmas, but maybe I'm getting before, because there was definitely something with the Christmas holidays. Maybe they betrayed you, if this is a situation where someone is alive and they've cheated and betrayed you. This also could be confirmation of something that's coming your way in 9 weeks. We'll get into that. But yeah, we have the death card here. And this, you know, while it can represent a literal death or a figurative death, where, you know, when I chose this image, you know, the tree is dead, but the ornaments are giving it life. The lights, you know, the things that you can add to the situation to rebuild, you know, this represents you rebuilding a new life after this incident happened. You also have the I, the letter I. So this could be confirmation, you know, I, you know, being singular, being solo, being on your own, having to look out for yourself. It could be a place, something significant with an island. Could be a name, Ivy, Ivan. Not a lot of names that start with I, but again, for some of you that might resonate. But where I'm picking up on, you know, some sort of betrayal, it could be the fact that, you know, if your father did pass away, or even maybe it was your father that betrayed the family, right? Maybe he left the family when you were young, and therefore you've struggled to trust after that happened, because he may have disrupted the family. And then there may not have been a mending of the relationship before he passed. But there's an acknowledgement here, messages of closure is, I know you have trouble trusting. And what I'm feeling is this person who has crossed over is feeling remorse and is feeling bad about the damage they caused in creating those childhood wounds. You have lipstick evidence. So that's where I'm picking up on that somebody was unfaithful in a relationship. And you have fan, which is intensify. So it's like something, you know, becoming, you know, heat, becoming like where they were, things came to the surface, right? Also, for some of you, though, I know this is random, but again, there's a lot of different cards that come out, and so there could just be one message that's meant for one person, right? And then we shift back to someone else. But when you pick up on heat and like needing a fan, what's interesting is the past life card is Egypt. So there could be something significant with Egypt. Perhaps, you know, this person, you know, went to Egypt, they talked about Egypt. You yourself may feel a past life connection to Egypt. You may be planning a trip to Egypt in 9 weeks. That could be where the 9 weeks is coming from. There could be just this like awakening in your soul as you're facing these wounds, these childhood core wounds, where you're starting to look into past lives. So many of us have past lives in Egypt, and it's such a spiritual, amazing place. So you may want to look into that. What's interesting is, in addition to the fan, the heat, the intensify, right after Egypt, we got umbrella, which is shelter. And definitely, I mean, I just actually got back from Egypt in late April, and it was very, very hot, and we had umbrellas in some places, like for the shade. But the shelter could also be, this could be you closing off your heart, closing off yourself, closing off your energy because of what happened in your childhood, or because of what happened with this person, if they're the father of your children. But you also have the wasp, and this is associated with jealousy, the fear of being stung, right? There's a lot here tied to lack of trust, jealousy, sheltering yourself off. And I'm picking up very much, it's based on this past hurt that needs to be healed. And I think, again, one of the most powerful things that we can do is write and burn to clear that out. And it may take multiple times. There might be multiple layers of things. You know, writing a letter to the person that hurt you to forgive them, like to let the anger out and then forgive them. Writing a letter to that past version of yourself, assuring them it's going to be okay. And if you were the one that, you know, maybe ignored red flags or signs, or, you know, if you were the one that was cheated on as an adult, you know, going back and forgiving yourself. Now, for the dream card, we got dream guide, teacher, guardian. So some of you, there could be a teacher connection, a guard, security guard connection, you know, to further identify, confirm the identity of the person coming through for you. But I'm getting that you are being shown, you're having likely very intense, very vivid dreams that are showing you things that sometimes, you know, our dreams may or may not make sense, but you may, you know, I'm picking up probably having repetitive dreams where you are, you know, the same kind of thing. Maybe it's always taking place in the same spot. For example, your dream could be taking place in your childhood home, or a specific, you know, could be Egypt. You could be having dreams that you're in Egypt, something like that. There's this reoccurring dream that's trying to tell you something. And if you don't know what that is, then, you know, my suggestion is to at least look up just some of the symbols, to start writing down, to, you know, say, hey, I'm going to, you know, start noticing there's a certain animal that appears, or a certain symbol, a certain color, a certain place, and just start journaling that, because your dreams are trying to tell you areas where you may need to heal. Okay. We also have the thinking man, 4-6. 4 plus 6 is 10. So this is about closure. This is about, you know, maybe this could be the anxiety and the trust and the, you know, the lack of trust you have, and the jealousy and being in your head and overly analyzing things, where it's like that will come to an end, and you can more tame that energy the more inner healing that you start to do, looking back to this childhood. And I am getting, you know, with the Santa Claus here, for some of you, there could be something really triggering around Christmas time, that, you know, around the Christmas season, that you might need to go back and revisit to see, you know, what it is you need to heal. And you may want to go back and watch the number 2, the second video, because I did get into that inner child healing some more on that one. So I hope that was helpful for you all. Until next time, take care.